Evening, back again. Here we go with Leverkusen Arsenal tomorrow, which is at 5:45. I don't know why. I don't remember us having a round 16 game at 5:45. I mean, Germany's only an hour ahead of us, so it's not like we're playing in Azerbaijan at Karabag or anything like that. But yes, tomorrow we have potentially tricky tie against Leverkusen. Personally, I don't think it's going to be. I think we're going to get this done in the first leg because I think there's going to be a bit of an emphasis on just being a bit more attacking minded in this game. I think we're going to go for it more in this game. I may live to regret that prediction, and we may just sit through another shit show tomorrow. However, I do think it will be in Arteta's mind. Surely, it will be in Arteta's mind to get this sewn up in the first leg if possible, because we have got the slight small matter of the Carabao Cup final just after the second leg, and the Man City game at the Etihad in the Premier League coming up as well. So we really don't want, if we can, we want to be resting. Turn it to Jonathan Ross here. Jonathan Ross resting players as much as we can in the second leg against Leverkusen. Now that's not me trying to get ahead of myself or anything like that. I mean, obviously it's not an easy game. Leverkusen aren't the Leverkusen of Alonso days. However, and they are kind of having a shit season, like 3-3 I think against Freiburg at the weekend. So their defense is pretty shit. But they can score, and we've been a bit leaky as well. I mean, our defence has been good over the season, but we've been looking a little bit shaky. We looked shaky against Mansfield, and we're going to have pretty similar defence. Obviously, the midfield is going to be different, the forward line will be different, but it might not be that different because Martinelli might start. Because you don't know, like, who do you start? Do you start Martinelli or Trossard? Whichever one starts, just isn't effective. Martinelli will just run to the edge of he'll run to the byline and then just run back again. Trossard can barely control the ball at the moment. Who do you start? They're both impact players off the bench. I think their best attributes are coming off the bench. That's not a good enough reason for me to keep them in the summer. I think we need to get rid of both of them. And these are two players that are from an era, are from the kind of nearly era. And if we are going to get it over the line this season, it's going to be in spite of players like that. It's not going to be due to them contributing loads. Unless, of course, you're talking about Martinelli in the Champions League. So I suppose, in a roundabout way, the best contender to start. Actually, no, because Martinelli's goals have come off the bench, haven't they, in the Champions League as well? So fuck it. He should start Trossard. I mean, I don't know. There's an argument maybe to put Eze on the left, but I just don't like him out there on the left. But then who are you putting in the 10? I mean, it's a tricky one. It's a little bit of a tricky one, just because there's just not much to choose from. It's not a tricky one because we've got, blessed with absolute on-form mercurial talent that's smashing it up at the moment. We are just stumbling our way and winging our way and scamming our way through games. We even sort of scammed our way through the Mansfield game. So there was a good 20 minutes in that game where we were under the cosh a little bit. And there were chances for Mansfield even towards the end. And it's just, it's a little bit disheartening considering we're told this is the greatest squad in Europe managed by the greatest manager in the world. So it's a little bit disingenuous, which is a word that Top Gooners like to use. Disingenuous. You're disingenuous to call Arsenal boring. I did a tweet. I did a mutant reaction show, and one of the tweets was saying people who say that Arsenal are boring are disingenuous. And it's like, no, it's because they're seeing the games and the games are boring. It's pretty simple. I mean, watch an Arsenal game and see how long it takes you to reach for your phone. And that's not just Arsenal, by the way. This is like the entire league. So, I mean, try watching a Premier League game and see how long it takes you to reach for your phone and dick about on WhatsApp or Insta or whatever it is you like to go on. It's just, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to last like 10, 15 minutes. Pause. If you can last longer than 10, 15 minutes, then you've done a good job, especially when it comes to watching the Premier League, if nothing else. But yes, I think with Leverkusen, I just think there's a likelihood that Leverkusen are going to pay us a bit too much respect. So they're going to kind of like sit off us a little bit. They're not going to come and attack us. Now, that's going to be in keeping with a lot of games that we've seen in the Premier League, right? However, I just think surely he's going to go back to playing, Gyökeres, Rice obviously in the middle, and Zubimendi. And this is going to be enough, I think, to take us past a team that sits sixth in the Bundesliga and has been not threatening in any competition at all. I mean, I'm basing a lot of this as well on the fact that obviously we're so amazingly we're so amazingly proficient and we're one of the best squads, if not the best squad in Europe, if not the world. So, I mean, why would we be worried about Leverkusen, right? Why would any top Gooner or any top Arsenal fan be worried about Leverkusen when we're constantly told how amazing we are and we're going to win a quadruple? So it's just incongruent to suggest otherwise. However, yeah, I mean, looking through the Leverkusen team, and there's not much there that kind of like instills you with fear. I mean, like, they haven't got people smashing in goals. They're not a high. I mean, it was a 3-3 at the weekend, but they're not a massively high scoring team. But they're conceding quite a lot this season. So I mean, there's definitely goals there for us. There's away goals. Actually, do away goals not count anymore? Fuck, they don't count, do they? Bollocks. But anyway, there's goals in this for us. And like my initial feeling in this was like, I think we can keep a clean sheet there. God, am I jinxing it by saying this? No, I'm being optimistic. Christ, there's always a risk. It's always a whenever being optimistic as an Arsenal fan and predicting a big win is usually like kamikaze settings. Honestly, I mean the amount of times me or people that I know who I respect in terms of like football knowledge and predictions and all this kind of stuff. Whenever we predict that we're going to have a handsome win, that we're going to stroll through, that we're not going to struggle, we end up struggling and getting battered or drawing or conceding last minute goals and losing. It's, you got to tread carefully in these circumstances. However, it's round of 16. There isn't such huge pressure. This team should be able to cope with it. And with Rice having at least a day off at the weekend, a weekend off, not that that's going to offset weeks and weeks of being flogged, but it will incrementally help. I can see us kind of having good control of midfield and that leading to enough. I'm not like saying we're going to pepper their goal, but I think we've got enough up front. Wouldn't surprise me if Gyökeres got one, Saka got one, or Saka got an assist or something like this. I don't hold much hope out for our left wing, as I alluded to earlier. But we don't need to do too much in this game, but we just need to make sure we get the win, and then we can kind of like rotate in the second leg. If we can come away from from there with a 2-0, that's absolutely perfect. And I think we can look at potentially resting players in that second leg with a 2-goal advantage. Surely, again, if we have the greatest squad in Europe, we should be able to win 2-0 at Leverkusen and then take it back to the Emirates, rest a couple of players and still get through it. I don't care if we draw. I would much rather win 2-0 away at Leverkusen and then rest a few players in the home leg, draw the home leg, and then, at least go through obviously and keep players fresh for the upcoming God knows how many games we're going to have against Man City, because of course we play them in the Carabao Cup and then we play them in the league, and then potentially whatever happens with the quarter-final, well, we've got Southampton, we're likely going through. I tell you what though, Southampton home record, 10 wins in 11, 1 draw, not lost at home. Obviously this is Arsenal rocking up, not a championship team, but still that's going to give them some confidence. But I mean, obviously we should be getting through. We should be getting to the semi-final. And wouldn't it just be like this season for us to draw Man City in the semi? So that would be like in mid-April. So we'd have the Carabao Cup, then we'd have the game against Man City, and then we'd have potentially another game against Man City in the semi-final. So this could get pretty peak in terms of the Blue Shark. So I'm going to go, prediction-wise, am I going to stick with the 2-0? Let's go with 2-0. Let's be optimistic, Rob. Let's be an optimistic Rob today. It's going to be 2-0. We're going to take it back to the Emirates, and we're going to probably get a little 2-1 at the Emirates, or even a 1-1 draw with some rested players, or at least start the players. Sorry, at least start a strong team, but take players off at half time, take players off at 60 minutes. If you have to do it that way, do it that way. It's just don't be playing. We don't want to play 2 full 90 plus minute all blood and thunder games against this team or any team at the moment, because we have just got too much shit on at the moment. We've got too many players who are playing through injury, and we need a bit of respite any which way we can get it. And this is a perfect opportunity because this Leverkusen side are there for the taking. And then we go through, if we go through, to another game where we can potentially do the same thing and then have some semblance of refresh ahead of a potential semi-final. I am not getting ahead of myself. It's just, it looks quite promising in the Champions League. My main worry, if we're going to look forward, getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, if we get through, my main worry is getting actually Atleti in the semi, because I think they'll want revenge. I think either Atletico or Barcelona are going to be obviously a fucking horrendous tie in the semi, but then it's the semi-final of the Champions League. What do you expect? So it's always going to be that way, isn't it? Like, you can't scam your way to a Champions League. You have to do it against the A-listers multiple times as well. So I just feel like Atleti will want revenge. Atleti are rejuvenated at the moment. They're quite free scoring. Saw them in the league of the last couple of weeks, and they're looking decent. They're kind of holding down the Champions League. There was a bit of competition from Betis, but yeah, they've kind of like got rid of them now, and yeah, they're just kind of they're free scoring and a big problem. And Barcelona are Barcelona, so yeah, this is going to get peak. It's going to get peak, and we need players. Point being, with all this rambling, is we need to have players as fresh as possible. So if we can bloody get these, okay, let's not think ahead. If we can get this first leg sewn up, this is ideal. 2-0, or at least a 2-goal advantage, a 3-1, something like that. And I've got a feeling we're going to do it. I have a funny feeling football's weird like this. Football, irony is a sort of, the football gods love irony. And it would be quite ironic for us to play so shit against Mansfield and then go and smash up Leverkusen. That's a very, very football thing. It's kind of an Arsenal thing to do. So that's what I say. That's what I reckon is going to happen. We're going to bash them up on their ground, and then we'll have like a tepid second leg where we'll just sort of float our way through, just like passively coast our way through. I don't see this game as being a big problem at all. Leverkusen of a couple of years ago would have been a hell of a lot different game, but this is not going to be an issue for us. As well, it shouldn't be. So yeah, that is it. Like and subscribe, people. I will be back on Shane Gooner's channel tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. We're going to be doing a podcast live together. That's going to be quite fun. I'm going to be talking about my Arsenal origins. I'm going to be talking about old stories from back in the day of first supporting Arsenal, and things like being at Sheffield Wednesday and being in the front row when Paolo Di Canio pushed over the referee. I think we won 3-1 that day at Sheffield Wednesday, but slightly overshadowed by the Italian maestro pushing over Paul Durkin, I believe it was, the referee at the time. And they all said that the referee dived as well, which was quite funny. But yeah, pushing over Paul Durkin right in front of me. Like, I was 4 or 5 rows back. I'm even on Google Images. I'll dig out the old Google image. There's like teenage me just squinting before I got glasses and contact lenses because I could barely see. But it was mad. I've never seen anything like it. I think the closest thing we got to that wasn't it, what was his name who played for Fulham? Milovic. I butchered that name, but you know who I mean. He confronted a referee at Old Trafford after getting sent off, but he didn't push him over. In English football, English top flight football anyway, as far as I can remember, we ain't seen a player push over a referee before. It was fucking crazy. You literally could not believe your eyes. So stories like that. I was at Wenger's first game as well, away at Blackburn, 2-0, Ian Wright, both halves, both ends. Obviously, both halves, both ends, kind of, it comes hand in hand, doesn't it? So lots of little stories like that, plus other stuff, and all the usual goodness that comes with a Shane Gooner podcast, which is a great podcast, and yeah, definitely take a look at that. So that's 8:30 p.m. tomorrow on Shane Gooner's channel, and then there'll be the usual. There'll be a match reaction after the Leverkusen game on Wednesday, which I'm going to have to rush home for. Should just get home in time for that. And yeah, there'll be just the usual muter of the day every day. So yeah, big up everyone. Thanks a lot for supporting. Cheers, guys, and I will see you soon. Peace.